Can I start by thanking you all for being here and for the invitation to me to be with you this morning, albeit briefly. And I should apologise for that briefness. Today is, if you like, our first day of term over there in Holyrood, and it's a very busy day with a programme for government and so on. So unfortunately I can't stay, but Scottish Government is with you. And so we, both myself and the Cabinet Secretary, Angela Constance, look forward to hearing the feedback from our folks who are here about today's discussions, because what you are talking about today matters a great deal to us. And of course, loneliness isn't actually about being alone. It's about feeling alone in the midst of often very many people, feeling alone in your own home, feeling lonely amongst others. And when loneliness hits you, it's a sad place to be. And when it lasts and you feel isolated and problems that now seem insurmountable and you feel cut off from others and what's happening, then you are alone in your own world and lonely in what can seem like a world that others are very comfortable in. So yes, loneliness and isolation is absolutely something that should concern us all. And of course there are many reasons, as has been said, why any government should care. Loneliness and social isolation brings problems of ill health, both physical and mental. It denies all of us the richness of what that other person could bring to our lives and to our communities if they felt connected and part of what we're doing. But the most important reason, it seems to me, why we should all care, and that includes governments, is the simple reason, the simple need that each of us have to reach out and help someone who needs that friendly word, that smile and that support, because we know that we need it too. So tackling loneliness and social isolation will have actions and strategies and funding requirements, but at its core, it has to have basic human compassion and care, one person for another. Now, as was said a minute ago, last year the Parliament's Education Committee, Equal Opportunities Committee rather, published its report on age and social isolation. And that was the first parliamentary inquiry anywhere in the world into that subject. And I think we should be pleased and a wee bit proud that our Parliament had the foresight to do that. It didn't dream it up by itself. It came to that conclusion, that idea to have that inquiry and that report because of the work of some of you in this room and others. And we as a government not only welcomed the report and the thoughtful recommendations that it made, but gave a commitment to responding to those recommendations with a programme of actions. Of course, there are no quick fixes, and no government can either legislate away loneliness nor fix social isolation itself. But there are things that a government can do. We can build in our recognition of the need to tackle the issue into each area of our work. We can work with other public agencies, third sector organisations, and critically local communities to help and support the work that they do to tackle loneliness and isolation in those communities and through those agencies. We can encourage and support community planning and health and social care partnerships to be mindful and to plan to support and tackle the issue. And we can begin to alter the balance of public services and support to move away from crisis intervention, important though that is, towards tackling isolation before it leads to further harm, towards real preventative work. And in all of that, we should work in a way that should be the hallmark of this government, working directly with those who have the lived experience of marginalisation and exclusion, and those who work with them, to build the practical approach that we should take. Now, I am the Minister for Social Security, but I am part of a portfolio headed up by Angela Constance to tackle poverty and inequalities. And it seems to me that one of the key things that needs to be at the heart of the work we do is tackling loneliness and social isolation. It breeds inequality and it comes from inequality. So it is a central part of what we are doing. Now, there's already a lot of work being done across the country by people like yourselves and others. And today I understand in this room there are many decision makers, deliberately so, because you have a key responsibility in the decisions you make and the leadership you show in your organisations to build in your understanding of loneliness and social isolation into the work that you do, and to lobby and pressure others, some of those agencies I've mentioned, to do the same too, including this government. Our job as a government is to work at a strategic level with those public and third sector and community organisations. And part of our support is, of course, money. The £20 million Community Empowerment Fund, specifically there to support community-led projects that tackle poverty and inequality. The one-year £500,000 Social Isolation and Loneliness Fund, which focuses on supporting community-based projects. Support to Age Scotland to help set up Silver Line Scotland, a service that in the first 6 months from January of this year received over 2,300 calls about loneliness, in addition to the average 130 keeping in touch calls that they take on each week. And our support to Age Scotland to strengthen the growing Men's Shed movement. And finally, the Link Worker pilot programme in Glasgow and Dundee, which you'll hear more about later on today. But you should also know that we've made a commitment to an additional 250 Links workers during this Parliament. So loneliness and social isolation is a sad place for any of us to be, and none of us know when we might also be in that situation. So it is important for us to carry on the work that you're doing, for us as a government to support that work. It has real value to every single human being that you touch, and it has real value to the kind of Scotland that this government wants to build. As your government, we will do our part to support you. Thank you.